Hey, Steve Zonardi here with Treviso Realty. Happy Monday morning. This will be the last Mondays with Steve in Florida. We'll be heading up north as of next Saturday. So we are going to be making that haul. I'm going to show you guys on the map what this all looks like, which is, it's going to be fun. I mean, it's going to be a high concentration in the car with the family, which is great. Me and my wife trade drivers every 5 hours, which is fine. So it gives me a lot of time to actually work during the process. But this is where we currently are right now. Maybe actually down here. I don't know why that pin is there. So let's go here. So our whole goal is the first leg on Saturday when we wake up is to get down to West Virginia to Morgantown. That's the goal. That's the first leg. So that's 1,200 miles just around. So maybe a little bit less than Morgantown. Probably want to do about 16-hour drive first night. And then ultimately from there, we're going to be passing. So if you kind of look at, we're going to be going through Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. We're going to go through Virginia, West Virginia. Then we get into Pennsylvania. Then we get into the second leg will be through Pennsylvania and New York. And we also pass through Ohio briefly through Columbus. And then ultimately, this is where we are right around here. So it's just crossing the border. So it's like we're really close to the States. We're about an hour and a half, let's just say, to this is where we actually grew up. In and around. Vaughan is a very Italian community. It's almost like the five boroughs of New York City. Similar feel, similar idea, very Italian, hardworking communities, blue collar, white collar, but ultimately high affluence as well. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a good time. Again, it is what it is. We're making this drive because we have a 40-pound Golden Doodle, so it doesn't fit in the bottom of your seat on a plane, and we can't get anybody to watch it for Christmas, so it is a 3-day in a car scenario for the dog, but it's all good. Current inventory 20,890 units, again very stable from last week, and 470 sales, so still pretty active. Estero's 812 units right now available and 29 sales, so it's been really active even for us as having listings. We've had a lot of showings, a lot of activity. We sold another property, and even doing the home inspection, you never expect this, and it's probably we have to do more due diligence prior, but we had some organic growth in some around the vents, and that could lead to a whole bunch of issues where if there's spores in the air, then you have to do a full wipe down of the whole entire property, then attack the organic growth, which is mold, right? The bad word. But ultimately, yeah, so this is a whole process representing both parties, so it's a double end, which is great for us as a business, but ultimately a lot of responsibility because you want to make sure both parties are satisfied with the transaction. And you don't want to make sure, you want to make sure that the buyer as well, that they're getting proper representation during this process, even though we're transactional brokers at this point, but ultimately keep everything transparent and open and make sure that all the inspections are done, they're all processed, they're sent to all parties under review. We had to extend the actual home inspection because this was caught, so we had to extend it to make sure we send in inspection, take samples, send it to the lab report, air samples, make sure there's no spores, and then ultimately have a plan of action how to attack this organic growth. And then ultimately there'll be a second and third second appointment where they'll come in, clean up the growth, and then ultimately there'll be a third viewing there. Mind you, because there's been no spores in the air, so we don't need to do a third air quality test because no spores just in those contained areas. But again, just making sure everything is transparent. It's a young buyer as well. You know, there's always a thing about affordability, even in my generation where the youth was not buying properties. And I look at myself, I bought my first investment property at 21 years old. It's just we saved money, we put it together, we did our first property, the joint venture with another friend of mine, and we bought a property. So I bought at 21, 22. I think the next, like our friends, a big group of friends, they probably started buying in their 30s, early 30s, mid 30s, but we've already had properties in our early 20s. So it's always like what you want to do. And why I say that is because our buyer is a 25-year-old lady that saved money, put it away, and now she's buying her first property. So she's already ahead of the curve. At 25 years old, she's buying her own property instead of renting, which is it's kudos to the girl, to the lady rather, and we want to make sure that she's getting a good house. I don't want to be part of a disaster because I remember my first when I bought my investment properties, I was dealing with a realtor that actually put us into, you know, like she could have avoided that whole area, to be honest. And I was just gung-ho, wanting to get going. I was looking at more passive income than appreciation. But as a professional, you need to guide your clients in this direction. Say, are you looking just for cash flow, or do you want to have like an upside in 5 to 10 years? And our approach, my company's both sides of the border, we're always looking for the future values. What are these properties going to be worth 5 to 10 years from now? Because nobody really thinks about that. But as an investor, I'm always looking at the future value of everything, because ultimately, if you're going to buy in a property and it's going to stay at 200,000, 300,000, 500,000, whatever it is, it stays $1 million, stays always at that status quo and never increase in value and only depreciates at that point. Realistically, it doesn't make sense. If you kind of always want to buy right underneath where it starts to lift, and this is why obviously all our properties that are we're doing all the investing for our clients that are out of state, out of country, and we're putting them into areas where we've already made 20 to 30% appreciation, which is good news for everybody, to be honest, because we bought literally on the lowest point right now, which is great, and everything's starting to lift. Also for rentals, because we obviously have a property management company that it's so good. We've had these new programs uploaded. I gotta thank Mike Gaddy for these as well. He actually introduced us to these programs. He did a lot of research on them. But we have this new program that it's so great. We're probably managing about 35 properties right now. The way this program's set up, we can probably put another 35 on with the same amount of staff that we have right now, so we don't have to go nuts, let's just say that, and have more employees, because we're in an analog system prior, and everything's like very digitized, automated, and so fast to deal with. So now we can add another 35 properties to this actual system and not hire any more staff. So that's very exciting with that. And why I talk about the property management is also because these are a lot of our clients that are investing into the state, and we manage the properties on the way out for them. But we found prior to Thanksgiving, we had a ton of action, and we've been leasing out like one property per week and a half, maybe 2 weeks now. And then we had a slowdown just around Thanksgiving, and then there was a very lull period where there was no leads coming in. And then now, boom, we have this huge explosion of like leads coming back in, and we're screening and we're showing properties. Even on the weekend, we have a condo across from Coconut Point where our office is right now, and that's the Walden Center, and it's been flat. Like sometimes you don't get a showing in a month. But over the weekend we double showed it, and now we got 2 applications to deal with. So this is all good news for our clients. Again, we're going into season, and these are relocations, so they're not seasonal people. So we have right now 2 families. One is an elder, like in the 50s, 60s, let's say 50s, mid 50s. They're coming in from Illinois. They're part of a construction company that's expanded into Southwest Florida. So that's a job relocation. We have another younger couple, currently pregnant right now, which is great news for them. Congrats. Originally from Fort Myers, moved to Texas, now came back to Fort Myers, obviously going to set up their life here with their new child and everything like that. And also the husband is down here as well, and so from Texas they got another job relocation, moved back down here. So again, it's like jobs are starting to pop up, which is good for rentals that we're obviously taking charge of and need to get rented for clients. But that's pretty much it, guys. Have a great day. We will see you on the 22nd, and it'll be in a very cold place. Ciao.